Hello, Dr. Kevin Polk here with a quick video about Stephen Covey's 7 highly effective habits. And I'm going to matricize them for you because under the general heading of what I do a lot, which is getting businesses unstuck. So this is getting your business and maybe yourself unstuck with Covey's 7 highly effective habits and adding the ACT matrix to those, and of course blasting through your sticking points. So here we go. Without further ado, that's the matrix. And it has be proactive in the middle of it. Oftentimes, most of the time, if you were with me, you would see noticing in the middle of that. And that's the matrix where you notice who and what's important to you, and you notice the stuff that shows up and gets in the way, like fear. And you notice the stuff you do to move away from stuff like fear, and you notice what you do to move toward who's important to you, is the basic matrix. And so I'm now putting Covey's 7 on here. And the first one's be proactive, sort of a philosophical stance, meaning you wake up in the morning and you think, what can I get done? I can be effective. I can change things a little bit at a time. First step is a step toward a journey of 1,000 miles. And each little step counts. And I can help take care of the world by picking up one wrapper and putting it in the trash can. These little things matter. Moving toward doing proactive, as opposed to the people who are complainers. This basically just sit around and burn lots and lots of time complaining and end up not getting much done. Highly effective people are proactive people, and whether it be a tiny little step or a big step, they do the steps. And it's a philosophy. It's a way of being, and that's why the be proactive. And in the middle of the matrix is be. So there's that. Then we're going to add on and start with the end in mind. Covey was really onto something here back in 1989, and that is borne out through lots of science since then. What that means is you get a mental picture of what you want to move toward, and then that really, really helps you learn what works to get you toward that. On a concrete level, maybe you're in the middle of the desert and you're wandering around, and you may be wandering around in circles, and then suddenly you see a tree in the distance, and oh, cool. And you look at you wish it was cool, it's the desert, but you look at the tree and you move right toward it. Very efficiently walk right toward the tree or the cactus or whatever you saw in the distance. If I say, hey, I'd like to go to Chicago, well, there's a good chance I'll put together a set of behaviors that will get me to Chicago and not to London. Start with the end in mind. Well, this includes your daily stuff. How would I like the end of this day to look? What would I like to have accomplished? What would I like to build? How would I like my employees to get along with one another? What do I want to move toward? What's the picture? What's the mental picture? Very important to draw that out, because then experiential learning will take over and you will learn what behaviors work to move you toward that end. So it's a little bit toward the positive thinking stuff, but not really. This is very concrete. Think of the desert example I gave, or the going to Chicago example I gave, or to getting along with your spouse. How would I like that to look at the end of the day? Gee, I think I'll send her a few text messages and call her during the day. See how that looks, that kind of thing. And start with the end in mind. He was really onto something there. It's a very core of experiential learning. And so now on to the next one, which is put first things first, is how he said it. I just put in first things first, probably for space. And he doesn't talk about it this way, but I do, and it's really cool. It really works for me, and it works for the people I've been working with. The businesses and stuff I've been working with, is that you prioritize things according to who's important, urgent, which basically means you're not going to get anything else done today because you got to take care of this urgent need of you or your loved one. You got to go to the emergency room or the hospital or something that's urgent, and take highest of priorities. Fortunately, most days aren't like that. Who's important? Not urgent, but you still need to get it done. Probably today or in the very near future. Well, there you go. We're social animals, and we get a big bang for our buck by moving toward who's important to us. That's a big satisfaction. There's a lot of social stuff inside of us that gets satisfied by that moving toward who's important to us. So the urgent stuff, you'll probably know what that is anyway. The not urgent, think about it. Call people, text people, do things for them, what you need to get done. And you're just thinking about it. The lower part of the matrix is you're only thinking about stuff. What's important is the next one. Of course, that's your jobs, your employments, money stuff, hobbies, and stuff like that. It's what's. And what's important, urgent. So maybe you got a paper due, maybe you got a project due today, and you got to get her done. You got to get it done today, so it's urgent. So you know that. And then what's important, not so urgent, but needs to be done. What you do after that, had my marker pen upside down. There we go. So who's important, urgent? Well, you know that. But you probably don't have to make a to-do list for that. But who's important, not urgent, you put it on your to-do list. And when you write up here, it's a behavior. Senses and behaviors go up here. And so that works well for that. So you put it on your to-do list, and hopefully you get to check it off at the end of the day. What's important, urgent, you get that project turned in or whatever. Once again, that goes on your to-do list, and hopefully at the end of the day you get it done with a behavior, and you get to put a check mark there. And of course, what's important to you, not urgent, but you still need to get it done. Nevertheless, you put it on your to-do list, and hopefully you get it done. So the priority really is number 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Makes it really easy, much easier than other to-do list forms. I came up with it, derived it up some months ago. I don't remember when, but I've discovered it works really well. So there you go. It's a real freebie for getting yourself unstuck, your business unstuck, you unstuck, getting moving along. I did that one, so let's move on to the next. Think win-win. This is thinking in the abundance frame of mind. Everybody can win. There does not have to be losers. In business, this is particularly important. If you start playing the I will win and the other person will lose game. Dr. Polk back. My dog started barking, so I was talking about win-win and this thinking of abundance. And don't get yourself into win-lose things. With your business dealings, with the dealings with employees, fellow employees, whatever. You get into, I'm going to win and the other person's going to lose. I'm going to put myself up and put the other person down. All of those things are forms of win-lose. And you want win-win. Win-win gets you to the tortoise line. It's a tortoise line. It's like a tortoise heading toward the finish line. It's going to win every time. Hare doing the win-lose stuff, it's going to lose. You're going to win. Part of that story is about that. This win-win, and it's also known as abundance. People think, oh my gosh, there's not enough, food to go around. Yes, there is. There's not enough money to go around. Yes, there is. There's not enough resources to go around. Yes, there is. Let's figure it out. I'm pro-social, very much for working with each other and even taking care of the entire world. Big time on that. And if we can figure out how to do it and think win-win, we'll pull it off. It's the win-lose stuff that gets us in trouble. And Covey wrote about this in '89, and it is one of the habits of highly effective people. Notice the title, highly effective. Effective might be a win-lose person for a while, but the highly effectives are the win-wins. And you start shifting your thinking over to that, and you'll get helps you get unstuck. And now let's move on to number, let's see. Oh, this is a biggie. Understand first and be understood second. And then I've put in one of the away things or one of the feelings that shows up. Covey writes about it, and many other people have written about it. You need to listen first and be understood, and listen first, talk later. He put it as or understand first, be understood later. In Toyota management stuff. Toyota Kata is a book, by the way. Toyota management or lean management, they talk about going to the place where work is happening and asking questions with respect. Where you ask respectful questions and then listen, understand first, and then you go about being understood second. What gets in the way of this? Your ego. My ego, everybody's ego. It is scary to put yourself out there and listen to other people first. You might hear things you don't want to hear, and it's a whole lot safer just to talk and lecture at people and such, and it's not the way to do it. We know this from science. We know this is not the way to do it. However, that doesn't keep most of American management, Western management, from making this mistake. And so a huge way of getting yourself turned around and unstuck in your business and even unstuck in your personal life, because maybe your spouse has been saying, please listen to me. Well, it's the same thing. Listen first, be understood later. It's a great thing to live by, and help you get unstuck really well. Synergize, creative cooperation. It's sort of what we were just talking about. And you can do something called the pro-social matrix, and that has, let me go back up and bring in one. If you have the shared purpose over here, whoops, you can bring up, I got all kinds of great stuff in there. Let's get rid of all those. I got Chicago and stuff in here. I've been playing in this. If you have shared purpose here, that's an O. Oh, it's a U, sorry. Purpose, shared purpose there. So, hey, what are we here for? To work together on? What's our shared purpose? What are we going to do? What kind of stuff like our ego and fear and stuff, of course, ego's part fear, can show up and get in the way of moving towards shared purpose. What kind of stuff like gossip and backbiting and showing up late for work and all kinds of other behaviors do we do to move away from this stuff? This is actually away moves. And of course, what can we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, and more to move toward the shared purpose. When you do that, you get a loosening up of everybody, and you get this creative cooperation going. So do that pro-social matrix. Yes, I created it, so I can give it away. You'll see it in other places on the web too. Pro-social, Prosocial, and this is that synergizing, where you're bringing yourself together with that. Let's see if I can just do the overlay, and you're picking up that shared purpose and what you can do, and you'll pick up a lot of this creative cooperation, especially if you have an open discussion about what's showing up inside of folks and getting in the way, and the kind of stuff that we all do to move away. Then if you do that, you'll get more psychologically flexible, that is, less stuck, and you'll move toward creative cooperation. It's really cool. So let me get rid of that. There we go. And bring up number 7, sharpen the saw. And that you're doing it now. You're watching a YouTube video about some information, and you're sharpening yourself. Comes from Abraham Lincoln. If I had 6 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend the first 4 hours sharpening my axe. So I got changed into sharpening the saw here, but it's about you, sharpening you. And you read, you exercise, you eat well, you do mindfulness, do the stuff to keep yourself sharp. And enough said about that. However, as you well know, if you go to do this eat well, mindfulness, read stuff down here can show up and hold you back. I don't have enough time, and I'll make a fool out of myself. I'm too fat to go to the gym. Will show up down here and hold you back from doing this stuff. Or I'll do the pro-social matrix with my work team. I'm the manager. I can do the work, pro-social matrix, or I'm the owner. And then your mind will say, you'll look like a fool, and da-da-da, it won't work, da-da-da. All kinds of stuff show up in your mind and hold you back. So sharpening this all sounds easy. It's just this lower left stuff will show up and get in the way. And finally, the number 8 is actually a whole nother book of Covey's, From Effectiveness to Greatness. But once again, it's the pro-social matrix. And what it's from an Erickson point of view, the developmental psychologist point of view, it's that you're looking for generativity, getting yourself out there, improving the world, the save the world, or the improve the world. I want to be effective, improve, and save the world thing. So you might be effective in a job, but it's really not on a big human scale. It might not be satisfying to you. It's not leading to you being great or feeling great. And that's what Covey was talking about. Well, you'll just pick that up like crazy if you do the pro-social matrix. So have fun with that. And I've already showed it to you. Shared purpose, lower right. What shows up and gets in the way, lower left. What kind of away behaviors do we do from that in the upper left? And then the upper right, we put down the behaviors we could do to move together in shared purpose. And if we get a whole bunch of people moving together like that, great. And if you'll look down below this somewhere, you'll see a link where you can get more courses, probably a webinar link, or you can even sign up to a strategy consultation session with me, and about getting unstuck, and seeing if you're really stuck and you really need to get out of a jam, I can probably help you get out of that jam. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching my YouTube video. Bye-bye.